Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. Folks, as we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask now that everybody please rise. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. The host of the Barbershop Quartet Convention gave us the Pledge of Allegiance, and of course, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet gave us the national anthem. We want to thank them for that. God bless them. God bless all of our military members around the globe, wherever they might be. May they return home to their families in safety. And I'm talking about also our allied armed forces as well. They also are part of us. They help defend us. They bring us a lot of joy and protection. We also help the world police the world. That's what we're doing. We're policing the world, unfortunately. One of our subs here, one of our EMA family members, just found us after having been gone for over 6 or 8 months now. We welcome you back into the EMA fold. Yes, we got taken down by what I was told was a hacker, but I have a feeling YouTube was behind it. You never know. I have grown to loathe this platform only because of what they do. Just to give you an idea, and I hate even talking about this, it bothers me to no end. Joe Biden, a week ago, got his hand slapped. He and his entire administration got their hand slapped by telling the media, telling the mainstream media, and all of us, all of the platforms around the globe. They were told to stop censoring us. They were told to stop interrupting us, to stop interfering in our talk, in our free speech talk. Biden got beat up by the judge over in Louisiana, a federal court judge, an appellate court judge, beat him up. Then another federal judge the other day said, "Oh, we're sorry, Joe. You can still tell the platforms to back off. You can still tell the platforms to fact check. You can still tell the platforms to censor people that are talking about the administration and what they're doing, or talk about anything that the administration doesn't like, and you'll be taken down by the platform." Yes, folks, the censorship is still ongoing. I've said this and I'll say it again. Our beloved country is no longer America as we have known it. Our beloved America is now a communist country. For all intents and purposes, free speech has gone out the window, because the Democrat Communist Party said it is out the window. If you dare come out against them, they will make your life a living hell. I really don't care. Go ahead, make my day. I am now on a list of other people, other creators, not just here but on other platforms, that have filed suit against Joe Biden and his administration. And at some point in time, we expect to win. Now, I will preface that because I'm going to tell you why. It is said that you can't sue the government, but you can sue individual people. I'm standing up for myself. I'm standing up for all of you. I'm also standing next to other people who this has happened to. I've lost a lot of money as a result of YouTube taking me down. Every time they took me down, they took at least $100 of your money that you gave to me. They took at least $100 to $150 that you folks had given me. I am not a monetized channel. YouTube does not give me any money, even though they put ads or commercials on my program. I don't see 1 red cent from that. The only money I see from this channel is super chats that you guys give me. So far, since this second channel has been on the air, we've not been taken down. But the last channel was taken down 6 times. 6 times. And they took the money that was in the kitty that I should have been paid. They took it as a fine against me. Took your money that you gave me. It's sad. It's very sad. But it happened. We started another channel in April this year. We've now been on the air a total of 4.5 years. 4 years on the other channel and a half year on this channel. We hope to make this last. If it doesn't, I will be going to Rumble. Be advised, if I get taken down, I will go to Rumble. You can follow me there. Aubrey, have a good time at your church service. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate everybody being here. Folks, I've told you that, and I promised all of you, that I would give you updates on what is happening on Maui. I want to show you now what is going on. If you just bear with me for a second, I will show you this 3 or 4 minute clip of a reporter on Maui when the county of Maui allowed residents to return to their homes that were burnt. I want you to see this. This is important.
For Maui Alert News, we are at the site of a re-entry point for Lahaina residents that have been affected by the fire. This is Kaneau Road here, right off of Honoapi'ilani Highway. And where I'm standing is a media entry point where we've been allowed as the media to go past the normal barriers. And looking down below is the check-in spot first check-in spot for people that are residents of the area that will be coming up through this area and then up into the neighborhood to check out their homes. These are significant times. Today is a significant period for the people checking in here and headed up to their home, because for a lot of them, this is the first time that they've seen their home since the fire. And we're expecting that to be fairly emotional for people. The county certainly is. It has people on standby, volunteers on standby to help with that process. We just heard from some people that are ministers to be there for people as well. The county is fully anticipating that this is an extremely emotional event for a lot of people here, seeing their homes essentially burned and flattened for the first time in more than a month and a half now since that August 8th fire. I'm going to swing the camera around, give you a picture of what's going on here. Again, this is Kaneau Road here in Lahaina. Down here you can see the typical presence of military. They've been here. This is the National Guard. They've been here really pretty much from the start. Normally this area here is blocked off to traffic, and for the general public right now it's still blocked off, but they're making exceptions for the people that have registered and decided to come back into the area. So then those folks make it past that area, then up the hill here. You'll forgive me because there is a lot of media here present, and they make it past that area up into the hillside where a lot of the homes are burned, and that is where the folks that have pre-registered are going to see their homes for the very first time here today. So that is the situation here. I'll tell you, this is a highly choreographed event by the county. They've asked folks in the media to register, pre-register. We had to register on Friday, I think it was, with the deadline yesterday, just to be able to come and see this event. They've asked us not to communicate really with the people that are coming in, asked us not to solicit interviews, approach vehicles, so of course we're respecting that. We do want to see if there is a moment at some point during the day where it might become possible that people that have been through there decide to come to us to tell us what they've seen. We don't know if that's going to happen, but that's certainly something that we would like to see if possible. We do know that despite that, I think that there have been reports of other media members actually going into the restricted area, ostensibly with family members that have okayed that. So, it remains to be seen what exactly the ground rules are there, and if possible, respectfully, we'll go there as well. If not, we'll certainly respect those boundaries. But that is the situation today. We have members of the community who have pre-registered. They had to register to get selected to come in here, and have come in here to see their homes for the very first time. Now, this is going in waves. This won't be the only time this happens. People are allowed to do this, as they register, and the county's coordinating it to do it in various time cycles to allow different areas to be approached at different times throughout this process. So the first phase of seeing homes for the very first time in a very long process, we know that last week it was announced that $1 billion of federal aid will be coming here just to help the cleanup part, the debris cleanup part. So you can just imagine what that portends for the length of this recovery process. It is definitely going to be measured in years, not months, and we are at the very beginning of all of this. So that is it for now. In Lahaina, everybody, I'm Paul Aker, Maui Alert, broadcasting live. We will have updates as they warrant here from the check-in point here in Lahaina and bring you the latest on all that. So,
Okay, that's what's going on. Now I want to go back here a little bit here, and I want to show you this. Okay, look at all these trees. Look at all these trees. Lahaina and West Maui burned down to the ground, but the canopy at the top of the tree is still there. The canopy of the tree is still there. Yes, there are a few burn marks on the trunks of the trees, but the tree survived. There was a dew weapon used to burn this area down. This was not, I repeat, this was not a natural disaster. Power poles did not fall down, except when they burned down. Power lines did not get knocked down by the wind as the city and the county said it happened. Didn't happen that way. The fire did not start as a result of falling power lines because the Maui and Hawaii power companies, one and the same, turn off the power. The people that tried to leave Maui and Lahaina during the fire time period were stopped at a gate by Maui police. They put up a barricade with police cars, telling the people they could not exit Lahaina and West Maui. And yet cars burned. Families burned inside the cars. Children burned in the back seats of cars behind their parents. Bodies were found because the police chief had given an order that, heaven forbid, anybody would leave the area. This was planned. This was planned. You see those blue tarps there in the background on the right-hand side of this slide here? Blue roofed houses and tarps and blue t-shirts and blue cars did not burn. I am told some red cars and red roofed homes did not burn either. Depending on what kind of laser beam that they used from satellites to cause these fires. I saw Eric West out there in the fire area before they banned him and tried to arrest him for being there. He picked up 3 blue t-shirts that were on the ground in an otherwise charred and burned area. The t-shirts themselves had not been harmed whatsoever. Again, this was not a natural disaster. I am again asking the authorities, where are the children? On Monday, I did a broadcast a significant broadcast that detailed the number of children that were enrolled in Maui public schools. There are still 2,025 students that are missing. 2,025 students that are missing. I understand that some parents are now homeschooling their children because they don't want their children going back to some of these schools. They don't want them seeing the terror of going back to the schools with their fellow students, because they're still burned out areas. King Kamehameha Elementary School was partially burned, and yet they're still back there utilizing the school that's left. I can't blame any parents for keeping their children out of that area. It's got to be very traumatic knowing that some of their friends died in that fire, that their parents, aunts and uncles, and grandparents died in that fire. There's still people missing. 189 people washed up on shore from a nearby island to the northwest called Lanai. 189 people washed up on the beaches of Lanai. The morgue at the Maui hospital was packed. 700 bodies there. As I reported to you after the fire was put out, Maui Police Department either bought or rented reefer trailers, refrigerator freezer trailers, to use as temporary morgue to house bodies until they could be dealt with. Yes, I am very distraught. I'm angry. I'm very angry. These rich people, Mayor Bisson, Police Chief John Pelletier, and Governor Josh Green. I get angry every time I hear that man speak now. He lies through his teeth. On Monday, he spoke to the UN. I reported on this. Monday, he spoke to the UN and said it was a 17-minute fire. A 17-minute fire that lasted several days. It was not a 17-minute fire, Governor Gangrene. It was a several-day fire that still burned and killed a lot of people, regardless of what you want to tell people. It was not caused by climate change. We know for a fact how it happened, and yet he keeps talking a different story. Then someone that I respected got together with Oprah, and they decided to put up $10 million. $5 million from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and $5 million from Oprah. And then they asked people, citizens from around the world, to help contribute to that fund that would give at least $1,400 every month to people that had been displaced because of the fire. They would give victims of this fire $1,400 a month until the fund ran out. Oprah bought up more land. Some actors that I used to respect that I don't anymore own homes and land over in Maui. They still do. Actors and actresses. Jeff Bezos from Amazon. And there are many others I won't even go into right now. It's happened. I've been told to let it go. It happened, let it go. I'm not going to let it go until justice is served. As I said before, Governor Gangrene, Josh Green, you need to resign. Mayor Bisson of Maui, you also need to resign. Police Chief John Pautier, you and your deputy chief need to resign. Felony wrongdoing, violation of people's rights, and accomplices to murder. Yeah, folks, that's what those people are. And at some point in time, they will be arrested. But for now, I'm asking for their resignations, immediate resignations. The emergency manager at the Emergency Operations Center there in Maui, he resigned after he told the people and the news media that he had said that he had made sure that the sirens were not turned on that would have alerted the people to the fire. He said they're only supposed to be used during tsunami conditions. That if they were turned on, that people would have turned and ran towards the mountains and ran into the fire. I don't believe that would have happened. But because he gave the order for the sirens to be turned off, he resigned. And he said it was due to health issues, but he resigned because he knew exactly what had happened. He knew the cause of the fire. He had been told by the politicians what was going to happen. I believe he was told to say what he said. Later, about a week after the fire, Mayor Bisson was at a news conference with the newly appointed Emergency Operations Center administrator and the police chief and Governor Green. Mayor Bisson was asked who was in charge at the Emergency Operations Center. His statement was, "I don't know who was in charge." I will tell you who was in charge. The mayor. A week or two after he said that, it came out that he was literally legally in charge of the Emergency Operations Center. Statutorily in charge of the Emergency Operations Center. His second in charge was the person who resigned, the emergency manager. So if someone is legally in charge and he says that he didn't know who was in charge, he lied. He lied. And then when reporters tried to hold his feet to the fire over it, they got bullied by Maui police. They got bullied by Maui police. Do you see how all this whole thing works? Do you see how all this fits together? With the people in charge lying about everything. The police chief himself was a self-ordained, and this bugs me to heck. He was a self-proclaimed and ordained chief medical examiner, even though he had absolutely no medical experience whatsoever. He had no medical experience whatsoever, yet he was a self-proclaimed medical examiner until they brought in the state medical examiner. And the state medical examiner is still there. Do you see why I'm pissed off? I myself was a cop for 24 years. I raised my arm to the square and took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God. The last time I checked, that oath did not expire. My oath did not expire, and either did any of the oaths of military members. Their oath has never expired. Folks, I'm sitting here in front of you, talking to you, telling you what is going on. Now, going back to that video, you heard the reporters say that last Friday, the city and county of Maui was having people that lived there register to be able to go in to their home areas to check on what is left of their home. They had taken it and cut it into grids. The city and county of Maui had divided it into grids. This grid on this day, this grid on this day, this grid on this day. They're only allowing so many people in each day to go back to their property to see if there's something, one, that they can salvage, go back there for memories, and three, to obtain some kind of closure after this whole thing's over. And as that reporter said, it's going to take months, if not years, to totally clean that area up. We've already been told that they're going to bring in bulldozers and heavy equipment and scrape the ground down 6 inches. And they've already started in some areas. They're putting all of the debris that they scoop up into 50-gallon barrels, and they're hauling it all the way back to the mainland. They're hauling it all the way back to the mainland in violation of local cultural customs. They're taking the land of Maui and taking it over to the mainland in violation of cultural rules. That in itself is an exacerbation of the problem here. They're violating people's rights. As I stated before, the town of Lahaina was the head and the capital of the Hawaiian culture for hundreds of years, until they made Hawaii the 50th state. Yes, I have real issues. I have real issues. May Edwards says, it breaks my heart, it breaks my heart. I'm having a hard time here. I'm having a very, very hard time. It hurts. It hurts. Like I said, my oath doesn't expire. I've been investigating this devastating event since it happened on August 8th. And I'm not going to stop until justice has been served. The people go to jail for what they've done. The evidence is clear. It couldn't be any clearer. Federal lawsuits have been filed in this case, and they will be heard. But folks, I'm telling you, so you can also spread the word. We need to get this out to the general public. Not just here on this channel. We need to get the word out. Don't forget Maui. Where are the children? Until they find 2,025 children, I'm not going to stop. And it's not just 2,025 children. Where are their parents and their grandparents? John Pelletier, the police chief, and Mayor Bisson and Governor Gangrene keep telling people, oh, there's only 68 people that we have not identified as of yet. 68 people. It came down from 115 people 3 weeks ago. Now it's 68. How about those 189 people that washed up on beaches of Lanai? How about those 700 people that sat in the morgue in the Maui hospital? How about the 360 people that sat in reefer trailers until their bodies were also identified? I've not heard one word about any of those people. And as far as I'm concerned, they have not been identified. Something must be done. Holly Flower said that she thinks that they took the children, and that's a very good possibility. There's all kinds of stories that go down rabbit holes about what happened to those children. I'm not going to stop until we have records of what happened, that we know for a fact what happened, that bodies have been recovered, children have been recovered, and we get to the bottom of this. I'm not going to stop. That's why I keep bringing it up and sharing information with you. Don't stop. Don't stop. Share this program with everybody that you know. Your families and extended families. Share it with your neighbors and friends. Tell people what's going on. The people you work with in your social media contacts, tell them what we're talking about here. Have them ask the questions, where are the children? If there are enough people, there will be a major investigation. Call your senators and congressmen, wherever you're at. Your Washington senators and congressmen that are in D.C., ask them to initiate investigation themselves, and they can do that. Senators and congressmen can launch an investigatory committee into what happened at Maui. Where are the children? Keep that question in the forefront. When you call your senators and congressmen, when you email them, when you send them a snail mail copy of your letter, ask them, Where are the children of Maui? There's 2,025 children still missing, as well as other people still missing. Inquiring minds want to know, and we deserve to know. People from around the world are not the only, people in Maui are not the only people that were hurt by that fire and the corresponding BS that has happened. People from around the world have loved ones that are missing. People from around the world have loved ones that were killed in the fire. I personally don't know anybody that's killed or missing in that fire. But I will tell you that I am hurt and I'm disgusted by what happened. I'm a former cop. Some people say once a cop, always a cop. That's true. But I'm an emergency manager. We want answers. We deserve answers. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. Raymond Roy says buses were found at the airport 2 weeks ago, no kids on them. Guess what? Not all the buses were found there. Apparently, there's some really fuzzy pictures of what appears to be school buses at a military base on Maui. I don't believe that. Dee Dee saying, is Ron blurry? Is it just my eyes? I think they are messing with our channel again. That's the only way I would be blurry. And you're right. Okay. Ginger Gal said that would be 20 buses for that many children. 2,025 children. I think that would be a lot more than 20 buses. Okay. And children were dropped off at buses at their homes, dropped off by buses at their people's homes. And because parents had to work, there were children that were left at home that were killed, burned to death. I mentioned that 15-year-old boy who was found a week and a half after the fire. His parents had been allowed into the fire area to go to their home. His parents found his body there, on top of his dog that he was clutching, trying to protect the dog from the flames. Can you imagine what those parents had to endure? Finding their child, their boy, clutching that dog? The father got a blanket and scooped up the remains of their son and their dog and took them to the police department for proper ID, proper identification. I have a feeling that there's going to be more of that now they're letting residents in. They said, the powers that be said, that they had dog teams in. Yes, they did. Dog teams from around the world that were let in. They're called cadaver dog teams. Canine units going in to sniff for bodies. I don't think they found them all because those parents found their son and the dog. Again, there's so much evidence out there that tells me that the job was not done correctly. And yet they're already scooping up evidence, putting it in 50-gallon drums, and sending it to the mainland. There's a problem with that. Dee says there was foul play in the Maui fire. Yes. They're evil enemies of the human race. As I stated last night, I showed you the 3-letter agencies. I'm not going to put those agencies' names out in my voice, but I showed them to you. They are also, I believe, responsible for what's going on. Now, there's something else that I need to speak with you about before we talk about earthquakes. Yes, we are going to talk about earthquakes here tonight. I promise you. We will be talking about earthquakes tonight. Earthquakes around the world and earthquakes in Southern California. I promise you that. We're headed there in just a minute. There are a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on that nobody even knows about. I've been talking to you about things. I've been talking to you guys about things since this whole thing started, since before this started. Okay? We've talked about the FCC FEMA fiasco coming up on October 4th. We've talked about it. And we're going to be talking more and more about it in the coming days. But folks, I latched on to the FEMA site today. I don't like what I saw, but we need to talk. I'm telling you folks, if you don't already know what's going on, I'm asking you all to be very careful. I'm asking you all to be very careful with what you're doing. And there's a reason for that. FEMA on October 4th is going to start their supposed test, supposed communication test at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. It's not going to be held at any other time. Not 2:20 p.m. in the Pacific Time Zone, not 2:20 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone, or the Central or Mountain Time Zone. Only one time zone. 2:20 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. That would mean 11:20 p.m. 11:20 a.m. in the Pacific Time Zone. It'll be 12:20 p.m. in the Mountain Time Zone. It'll be 1:20 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. Is everybody listening to me? Is everybody listening to me? They are going to be putting out information. I'm going to explain it to you on what's going to happen. Okay? I want everybody to listen to me now. Please pay attention to me. I believe this information is vital for everybody to hear. Okay? I want everybody to pay attention. Please. I know I talk about things. I talk about a lot of things. But folks, what I'm saying is vital for your safety. I don't trust the government any further than I can throw them. You need to know that. You need to know that. This is important. Do I have everyone's attention here? Do I have everybody's attention? Laura Marie says she's listening from Oregon. Thank you. Holly Flower says, Ray Spur, you're on Messenger. Holly, please pay attention. I know everybody's wanting to get to know everybody here on the chat. This is not the time to be doing that. I need you to listen to what I'm saying. On October 4th at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time, FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, is going to conduct a nationwide test of the Emergency Alert System, the EAS, and the Wireless Emergency Alert System, the WEA. The national test will consist of two portions: testing the WEA and the EAS capabilities. Both tests are scheduled to begin at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time on October 4th. There will not be any other tests except if the October 4th test does not go as scheduled, they will do the test on October 11th. The WEA, the Wireless Emergency System, that portion of the test will be directed to tell all consumer cell phones. It will be directed to all consumer cell phones. This will be the third nationwide test, but the second test to all cellular devices. The text message will display in either English and or in Spanish, depending on who has the phone, depending on the language settings of the wireless handset. The EAS portion of the test will be sent to radios and televisions. This will be the 7th nationwide EAS test. FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with EAS participants, wireless providers, emergency managers, and other stakeholders in preparation for this national test to minimize confusion and to maximize the public safety value of the test. The purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the systems continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. I've got the script here, but I'm going to deviate from the script to tell you about this. Okay? In the past, this alert system was put over the radios, televisions, and radio sets set for the weather station. We talked about having AM, FM weather radios. Okay? The feds, in their infinite wisdom, can come in and take control of the weather channels. And they can deliver emergency messages from the government on the weather channels. In the case of the October 4th test, this is what they're doing. In case the October 4th test is postponed due to widespread severe weather or other significant events, the backup testing date is October 11th. The wireless emergency alert portion of the test, the WEA, will be initiated using FEMA's Integrated Public Alert and Warning System. It's called IPAWS, IPAWS, Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, IPAWS. It is a centralized internet-based system administered by FEMA that enables authorities to send authenticated emergency messages to the public through multiple communication networks. The WEA test will be administered via code sent to cell phones. This year, the EAS message will be disseminated as a common alerting protocol. A common alerted protocol message. It's called CAP, Common Alerting Protocol Message. Via the IPAWS network, the Integrated Public Alert Warning System Open Platform for Emergency Networks, the IPAWS Open System. All wireless phones should receive the message only once. The following can be expected from the nationwide WEA test, beginning at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Cell towers will broadcast the test for approximately 30 minutes. During this time, WEA-compatible wireless phones that are switched on within range of an active cell tower and whose wireless provider participates in WEA should be capable of receiving the test message. For consumers, you and I, the message that appears on your phones will read, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." I repeat, the message that will appear on your phones is, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." Phones with the main menu set to Spanish will display this: "Esta es una prueba del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia. No se necesita acción." Yes, that's bad Spanish, I know that. But that's what's going to happen. Okay? WEA alerts are created and sent by authorized federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial government agencies through IPAWS to participating wireless providers which deliver the alerts to compatible handsets in geo-targeted areas. To help ensure these alerts are accessible to the entire public, including people with disabilities, the alerts are accompanied by unique tone and vibration. The alerts are going to be accompanied by a unique tone and vibration. Important information about the EAS test. The EAS portion of the test is scheduled to last approximately 1 minute, and it will be conducted with the participation of radio and television broadcasters, cable systems, satellite radio and television providers, and wireline video providers. The test message will be similar to the regular monthly EAS test messages which go out to the public on your radio and televisions. This is a nationwide test of the emergency alert system issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, covering the United States from 1420 to 1450 hours. 1420 is 2:20 p.m. to 2:50 p.m. 30 minutes. This is only a test. No action is required by the public. That is the message that FEMA wants me to pass on to you. Okay? Last night's broadcast, I showed you how to make you a Faraday cage for your phones. I showed you how to make a Faraday cage for your phones. Nathan Hester, who is part of the EMA family from Mississippi, he asked me if I thought it might be necessary to wrap the ham radios. No, that is not going to be necessary. But I'm going to ask all of you to turn off your computers, laptops and desktops, turn them off, shut them down, unplug them. Unplug your radio equipment. Any AM, FM weather radios, or not even weather radios, if you have an AM, FM radio period, shut it off and unplug it. I'm going to unplug all of my radios here. I do not want them to be receiving these messages, regardless of what FEMA says. Okay? Again, I don't trust the government any further than I can throw them. Okay? Elizabeth is saying take out batteries on your radios. I would recommend that as well. Okay? Linda Covington says, question, what about an iPad and a smart television? I'm going to turn mine off and I'm going to unplug them. If you have an iPad, I don't have an iPad, but I do have a tablet. I'm going to also wrap that up in aluminum foil, because those things are also connected to my tablet. Is connected to a cell tower. It's also connected to my wireless equipment here. I'm going to turn it all off. Richard Smith says, wife and I tried wrapping our phone. She called me, it didn't go through. That's exactly what we expect, because the cell tower won't be able to get through to your phone if it's wrapped up tightly, like we recommended. Okay? Now, though the FCC and FEMA are going to broadcast that message for 30 minutes, there's been no EAS message ever for 30 minutes. The only time we would see or hear a message that long is if we're going to war, or there were incoming missiles to the United States, or wherever we're at. That's the only way you would be notified of an emergency alert message that long, 30 minutes long. As I stated before, it's my belief and the belief of a lot of other people, I'm not the only one, that they're going to put out tones, audible tones and subaudible tones that will activate the mRNA that was put into your system through the jibby jab. Okay? I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. I have real strong beliefs about what's happening. Okay? I've done a lot of research. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that nothing is going to happen. But we have all seen what has happened during the past 3 years. We've come to find out that we can't trust the government any further than we can throw the government. I am only putting this information out to help protect you. If I hadn't done it, then I will feel bad if something happened because I didn't put it out. But at least I'm putting out this message to give you guys a heads up. We're now 7 days away from this test. 7 days away from this test. I want you to be prepared. Josie Rod said the unjuiced should not worry. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. Marie is asking, what is the purpose of this message on the 4th? I just got through repeating, or not even repeating, I read it directly from the message that I received from FEMA. Okay? I read you the information directly what I got from FEMA. However, like I just got through saying, the message is supposed to start at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. I just got through repeating all the time zones. 11:20 a.m. Pacific, 11:20 a.m. Pacific, 12:20 p.m. Mountain Time, 1:20 p.m. Central, and 2:20 p.m. Eastern. That crosses the entire United States and Canada. Yes, this message may go to England, I'm told. Okay? Ray Spur says, if I was in charge, I would not advertise it. Well, guys, like you said, I can't trust FEMA. The test is going to go from 2:20 p.m. to 2:50 p.m. 30 minutes. You can get out a message, as I just read to you. You can get out this message within 10 seconds. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Esta es una prueba del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia. No se necesita acción. That's a Spanish message. It's going to be coming out in text for those people that speak Spanish or English. Okay? Beginning at 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Cell towers will broadcast the test for approximately 30 minutes. You can get out that message that I read to you in 10 seconds. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. If this were a real emergency, you would be directed to tune into stations in your local area that will give you emergency up-to-date information on your specific area and time. Okay? That is usually what they put out. This time they're going to take 20 minutes. They're going to put out a tone message. They said the tone message will be put out for people that are deaf. Really? People that are deaf or can't see. They're going to be putting out a tone message. Really? That's interesting. For 30 minutes. Why are they doing it? Because those tones are going to activate the mRNA in the that came out into your bodies when they injected it during the jibby jab. Okay? Why else do you think that they would be having this emergency alert system test for 30 minutes? You tell me. Beth Wolf says here in the chat, tones affect the human body to change inner function. And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Kim Stanley says it will not work. God has got this. Now, folks, I believe in God. I really do. But God has given us our own bodies and our own brains to use our brains as we feel significantly challenged to use it. It's up to us to do the right thing for the right reason at the right time. The right thing is to turn off the phones, turn off the devices that would protect you. Turn them off to protect yourself. Yeah, the Lord has us. That's why I'm giving you this message. Okay? That's why we're giving you this message. You need to pay attention to this message. Okay? I'm just saying. Marie says, I already have ringing in the ears, so not much more can hurt you. Oh, really? Okay. Don't pay attention. Keep your radios and TVs and everything, internet machines on. And see what happens. I'm just trying to help you. That's all I am doing, is trying to give you a heads up. From about 12 noon to 5 o'clock on August 4th, I'm not going to have any of my devices on at all. Not at all. I may start turning my devices off in the morning. I don't want any flack from FEMA or anybody else. Okay? Stutka says not effective in Canada. It can be reached in Canada, guys. You say it's not effective in Canada. I've been told it can be reached in Canada. I'm just saying. It said only in the United States. Yes, it did. But how many U.S. citizens are in Canada? How many U.S. citizens are in Guam or Puerto Rico or other places? We have territories all over the world on islands. You better believe that this system that they have put together can reach everywhere. Okay? You better believe that the system they have in place can reach everywhere via satellites and everything else. I'm just trying to help you. I don't know about Ukraine. We have citizens in Ukraine. Okay? I'm disgusted by what's going on. Now, something else that you also probably ought to know about. Prior to October 4th, we talked again about this last night. We talked about it periodically during the last week or so. Starting September 30th, if our legislature and the President of the United States don't get their acts together, our government will shut down. Our government will shut down. No one will get paid. No military member will get paid. No government worker will get paid. No Social Security will go out to anybody. no SSI, no SDI, no Social Security of any kind will go out. No government retirement checks will go out. The government will shut down. They've done this before. It happened during the Clinton administration one other time. I worked for the government. I did not get a paycheck for a month. Try telling your landlord or your mortgage company or your electric company, hey, I'm not going to get paid because of the government shutdown. Yes, I would suppose that these people would be more lenient on those of you and me that can't pay our bills because we don't have any money to pay them because the government's not going to give us any money. I'm giving you a heads up. If you have any money left over, it's September 27th. The government shutdown could happen in 3 days. 3 days. Go and make sure you have water. Go out and make sure you have at least food to get you through it. Food to get you through more than 3 days. This shutdown happens again, it's not just going to go on for 24 hours, 36 hours, or 72 hours. This could happen and stay happening for quite some time. What am I telling you? I have been asking everybody to put together an emergency preparedness kit. How many times have I asked everybody to do this over the last 4.5 years? How many people have actually done it? Considering what I already know about emergency managers around the United States back in 2014 when FEMA put out a poll of all emergency managers. How many of you have 72-hour kits? A week or so later, the results of their poll came back out. Only 25% or less of all emergency managers across the United States had 72-hour kits. If that's any kind of idea, how many people have been listening to me? 25% of you have a 72-hour kit? 25% of you have written an emergency plan? I hope so. I hope so. I'm just not jacking my jowls right now. I'm trying to help you. I am doing my best to try to help you. I don't like just jacking my jowls. If I liked jacking my jowls, I would not even be here. I would be getting paid to go someplace else to jack my jowls to do something else. I haven't seen one I've not seen one super chat tonight. Nothing. I'm not saying you guys are lazy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not getting supported very well. I might get $100, $200 a month from super chats, and I appreciate every dime of that. I really do. But folks, Elizabeth says I'm broke right now. I'm not putting you down, Elizabeth. I'm not putting anybody down. But all I'm telling you, for years, whenever I did a speech anywhere about emergency preparedness, I got paid for it. $50 an hour to talk to people. If I had to go travel to someplace, I'd get my travel fare taken care of, I'd get my hotel and food taken care of, and I would get paid $50 an hour to make the appearance to talk to people about emergency preparedness. Now, I've taken that information and I put it into our website in the files sharing area. You can find a link to our website down below this very video tonight in the program description. In the file sharing area, you'll find all kinds of information that I put there for your use, for free. I'm not charging for it. How many people have taken advantage of that? How many people have a 72-hour kit? How many people have an emergency preparedness kit? Last night, I took the effort to take everything else out from my 72-hour kit to show you mine, what I put into it. There was a reason. I'm trying to get all of you to do the same thing. 72-hour kits, emergency preparedness kits. I've been asking everybody to put together an emergency food supply in your pantry. Food that could last you from anywhere from 30 days to 6 months to a year or longer. Yes, for the most part, almost anybody that has food in their home can make it last for quite a while, if you needed to, if you want to. Needs and wants, guys. Needs and wants. Oh, I feel hungry. Well, if I go eat this, I'm not going to have that for tomorrow or the next day. You've got to make some decisions here. Okay? Elizabeth's saying I'll be working on the 72-hour kits this week. I have to redo them. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. I want to make sure that all of you are prepared. I don't want to have anybody tell me a week from now or 2 weeks from now they're hungry because there's no food on the shelves. That they're hungry because they don't have any food in their home. And the stores have run out of food because everybody and their dog went to the stores and bought stuff from the stores, and they have not been able to restore their food on the shelves. It's happening. It's happened before during the pandemic. It's happening again. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm not jacking my jowls. I'm talking to you for a reason. Yes, this is National Emergency Preparedness Month. I've got the banner up on my program so you can see it, to remind you of this. Not just for the United States, but everywhere. All over the world. JB Maps just gave us a $7.70 super chat. For you, dear brother Ron, you sure do us all a great service. Love your Sunday school too. May God bless you and yours for all your efforts. Well, thank you so much, JB. God bless you. And thank you for your service. Thank you for helping us. God bless you for that. We certainly do appreciate it. Now, I'm not begging for super chats. That's not why I mention that. I mention that to give you an idea of the importance of our message. Juby Joe just gave us $99.99, $100. Thank you, Juby Joe. God bless you for that. That's huge. Ron, you are absolutely awesome and appreciated. Much respect, sir. God bless you for that. That means so much, guys. That really does mean a heck of a lot to me. I appreciate that. I appreciate each and every one of you here. You are what keeps this program on the air. Now, folks, I'm not tired of this. I could go on and on and on all day and all night, too. I just want to get this message out. The importance of saving lives is here. That's why we're here. I'm trying to help you help others save your lives and save the lives of your family members and those that are important to you. Otherwise, why should I even do this? It would be worthless. I'm here for all of you, literally. Also, before you leave tonight, please give us a thumbs up if you appreciate what this program is doing. And please share it with everybody that you know. Okay? Now, before I get started on anything else that I planned, I want to talk about earthquakes here. I want to talk about earthquakes that have hit and what is going on. I think it's vitally important to know what's happening, guys. Over in northwestern Alaska, for example, this is just south of the Arctic Circle. This just happened. This is a 3.2 earthquake. A 3.2 small earthquake has just hit 28 miles south of Shugnuck, Alaska. Shugnuck, Alaska is a volcano. It's a volcano there. 28 miles south of Shugnuck, Alaska. Just south of the Arctic Circle and just south of the volcano. You can see earthquakes all over Alaska. This earthquake here, just south of the Alaska Peninsula, south of Sandpoint, Alaska. This happened, this happened late last night. Okay? This happened at 10:14 p.m. last night, just south of Sandpoint, Alaska. This is the same area that was hit by a 6.0, 6.5, 6.9, 7.0, 7.8, 8.7 earthquakes in the last 3 years. This is the same location that was hit by all of those earthquakes. Large, very strong, and major earthquakes have hit this same location. This is a 5.1 large earthquake. No, there's no tsunami on this one. Tsunamis only happen when it's over a 6.0. And then not that often even with that. No tsunami here with this earthquake. However, every earthquake has a possibility of being a foreshock of a much larger earthquake. A 25% chance of being a foreshock of a much larger earthquake. Okay? It's happened before. I'm just pointing these things out. I want you to know. Over here, this is north of the Aleutian Islands. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. This could have been a 5.0. This is in the Pribilof Islands. The Pribilof Islands, Pribilof Islands, here in Alaska, north of the Aleutian Islands. A 4.8 earthquake. We don't see many earthquakes north of the Aleutian Islands. This is a first. This is a first. Sometimes we see earthquakes right here. We've seen earthquakes right here in the last month. We've had several small to moderate earthquakes up here in the last month. Okay? Just giving you a heads up, because I don't think we're going to have that just go away. Okay? I'm only going to show you earthquakes that USGS has said here. This is not all of the earthquakes that have hit. Okay? By far not all of the earthquakes that have hit. Over here south of Japan, in the Izu Islands. This is also a 5.0 earthquake here in the Izu Islands region. This is nowhere near land though. No land masses harmed by this earthquake. The ocean waters absorbed this earthquake shockwave. A large earthquake in the Izu Islands region. South of there. This is a 4.5 moderate earthquake here. This earthquake is only 13 miles deep. The 5.0 earthquake, only 10.7 miles deep. Okay? About 15 kilometers deep. Okay? Let me back down here. Let's go over here to the Indian Ocean. Okay? This is a 5.4 earthquake. A large 5.4. Mid-range 5. Okay? A mid-range 5. 5.0, 5.9 are considered to be large earthquakes. This is out in the Indian Ocean. There are no land masses anywhere near this earthquake. Nobody was harmed by this earthquake because the ocean waters here in the Indian Ocean absorbed the shock waves of this earthquake. This is only 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? Over here into Indonesia. Indonesia. East of Java. This is a 4.2 moderate quake here. Again, it's in the Molucca, or not Molucca Sea. This is in the Banda Sea here. The 4.2 earthquake. This is a deep earthquake. This is 289 miles deep. A pretty deep earthquake. As a result of this earthquake, there's going to be a 5.0 large earthquake as a direct result of this earthquake here. Yeah, it's a 4.2. But remember, depth to magnitude, depth to magnitude. This is a semi-deep quake. This is going to propagate a large earthquake sometime within the next 72 hours to 10 days. Okay? Over here. This is in the Timor-Leste region of Indonesia. This is also a 4.2, but in this case, this is 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Almost directly north of this. This is in Amahai, Indonesia. Amahai, Indonesia, guys. It's right here on the shoreline. This is a large earthquake, a 5.0 earthquake. This is 20 miles deep. 20.6 miles deep. Okay? Now, for the most part, the ocean waters absorbed this earthquake, absorbed the waves of this earthquake, but it's close to land. 6 miles west-southwest of Maui, Indonesia. It's possible that the people that were anywhere right here felt some part of that earthquake. There are people living here. There are people living here. Okay? Almost directly north of this. This is Maui, Indonesia. Masohi, Indonesia. This is a moderate 4.6. Also 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. It's out in the ocean here. And what has happened? The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of that quake. It wasn't big enough to do much of anything anyway. Nobody probably even felt that earthquake. We continue to go east here. Okay? This is Papua New Guinea. This is also a 4.5 earthquake. 6.2 miles deep. Okay? Where's it at? It's right here on the seashore of this island. Now, I do not believe that there are people living on this island. A lot of places, including here in Papua New Guinea, there's nobody living here. If there is, it's sparse, few and far between. Okay? It does look like there's people here near the shore. But this is only a 4.5 earthquake, moderate earthquake. I don't believe that anybody felt this earthquake, and if they did, they may have felt a slight rolling motion as a result of that quake. Okay? Papua New Guinea. We go further south into Vanuatu. This is a 4.6 moderate quake, mid-range 4. 69 miles deep. This is down in the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere. The asthenosphere is the magma area directly beneath the crust of the earth. The crust of the earth that we walk on is only anywhere from 39 to 69 miles deep. So this is directly below the crust here. Okay? In the plastic magma area. We go further east. This earthquake just happened. This is a mid-range 4.5. This is only, guys, only, get this. This is only 355 miles deep. This is a very deep earthquake. Right here. South of the Fiji Islands. For the most part, the water absorbed this earthquake. 4.5 moderate earthquake, the waters absorbed the shock waves here. However, this was a pretty deep earthquake. This means that there's going to be a 5.5 magnitude earthquake that was generated as a result of this earthquake today. A 5.5 magnitude earthquake as a result of this one. North of here, this is near Levuka, Fiji. Levuka, Fiji. This is 183 miles from any landmass. 183 miles from any landmass. A 4.8 moderate earthquake. Nobody probably felt this earthquake because the waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Okay? 381 miles deep. Ooh, that's a deep quake. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Another earthquake. And USGS is actually telling us about this one. Look at this. This is a moderate 4.2 over here on the northwest side of the South Island of New Zealand. Okay? A moderate earthquake right here. Now, I'm going to zoom in here. I believe there are some settlements here in this area. This is only a moderate earthquake. This is only a moderate earthquake, but people felt this earthquake. People felt this. They may have felt a rolling motion. Maybe things fell off their walls, or knickknacks or books falling off shelves. Plates and bowls rattling in cupboards. That's what's going on here. A 4.2 over in northwestern New Zealand today. Okay? We're starting to get some moderate and large earthquakes hitting the South Island. That's interesting. Menacing Muskrat is asking, have I talked about Canada yet? Not yet. Not yet. Stand by. Stand by. Okay. Now I'm going down to the South Pacific here. The deep South Pacific. The Antarctic Ridge. The Antarctic Ridge got hit with a 4.5 moderate earthquake today. You can see the Antarctic Ridge here. It's that red line here. That Antarctic Ridge is the earthquake superhighway down here, separating the tectonic plates. Separating the tectonic plates. A 4.5 earthquake. This was a shallow 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Supposedly. Supposedly. Okay? I'm just saying. Supposedly here. Going over here in Central America. Nothing in South America at all. They're lying, folks. There is absolutely no possibility that we would have one day without earthquakes in South America. That's a bunch of crap. It's hogwash. Over here, okay? This is in southern Mexico. This is in southern Mexico, just off the coast. This is a moderate 4.6 earthquake, 62 miles south-southwest of Manuel Aveyah, Camacho, Puente Duro, okay, just off the coast. This is the Cocos Plate, the Cocos Plate here. This is not the only earthquake that hit here. This is only the earthquake that they want to tell us about. Go figure. There's earthquakes all over Central America. There's earthquakes all over southern Mexico. Again, they don't want to tell us anything. They don't want to tell us anything they don't have to tell us. Plain and simple. We go over to Puerto Rico. Okay? Over here, let's start over here in the west. Folks, this is the Mona Passage. This is the body of water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. The Mona Passage. This is a small 3.4 earthquake. 39 miles deep, possibly down in the asthenosphere again. Okay? North of there, also north of the Mona Passage, approximately 40 miles northwest of San Antonio, Puerto Rico, basically the same location as a 6.3 earthquake that hit here 3 years ago. This is also a 3.2 earthquake. Okay? Further south here, just barely off the west coast of Puerto Rico. This is a 2.9, just small quake. They call it 2.9. 2.0, 2.9 is considered to be a minor earthquake. Considering what we know about the 0.9 society, this could possibly have been a 3.0 or larger quake. So I'm calling this a small quake. Just off the northwest coast of Puerto Rico. Now, we come down here to southwestern Puerto Rico. These earthquakes are aftershocks of an 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake that happened here 4 years ago. December 27th and December 30th, 2019. 8.0 on December 27th and 8.0. 3 days later, another 8.4. Two major quakes. Two major devastating quakes. And unfortunately, it was a United States agency that did it. The United States agency is responsible for detonating those earthquakes. Fact. Fact. This agency right here. This agency right here. They turned on a station in Norway, one in Russia, and one in northwestern Australia, triangulated Puerto Rico and devastated those people. Destroyed homes, destroyed buildings, dwellings of all kinds, destroyed a natural monument, a sandstone arch that was down here in southwestern Puerto Rico. They destroyed a sandstone arch right down here. A beautiful sandstone arch that was just like the arches in Utah Arches National Park. That 8.4 devastated that arch and crumbled it. into a million pieces. Homes destroyed, businesses destroyed. People had to live out in their yards of their homes and outside apartment buildings because people from that agency got greedy and decided to turn that area into sawdust. Yeah. Any earthquakes we get down here now are aftershocks of those quakes 4 years ago. This is a 2.5, 5.6 miles deep. This is a 3.3, also 5 miles deep. This is a 2.4, 7.5 miles deep. This is a 2.5, 5.5 miles deep. Okay? These are aftershocks of the 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes, December 27th and December 30th, 2019. This earthquake over here might be related to it, but I don't think so. This is also a 2.7 earthquake. This one up here north, near Naranito, Puerto Rico. This is 2.3 magnitude earthquake, a minor earthquake. Okay? A 2.3 minor earthquake in Puerto Rico. Over here, a 3.2 earthquake, northeast of Puerto Rico, and northwest of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Okay? Look at this. No earthquake shown anywhere in the Middle East, Russia, China, or Europe. Nothing. That's a lie. This is a lie of omission. It's a lie of omission. They don't intend on telling us what is going on. They have no intention of telling us what is going on. An earthquake over here in the north central part of the U.S. This is Spring City, Tennessee. It's a 2.0 earthquake in Spring City, Tennessee. This is east of the Pneumatic Fault. A 2.0 earthquake here in Tennessee. It's not the only earthquake here as well. Earthquake here in Oklahoma, 1.4. Oil and gas. This earthquake here, Owassa, Oklahoma, they're calling this a quarry blast. A quarry blast. Look where it's at. There's a quarry over here. There's a quarry over here. This earthquake here, I don't think it's a quarry blast. Number one, it's on the other side of a highway. It's on the other side of a highway. I would dare say this is an oil and gas quake. An oil and gas quake. As you can see here, there are all kinds of pumps and jacks all over this area. Right here. Right here. Anywhere within 6 miles, 6 to 10 miles of this quake. If there's an oil and gas pump within 6 to 10 miles of this quake, this is an oil and gas quake. And I would say that's what this is. It's not a quarry blast. It's near a quarry, but it's not a quarry blast. Near Owassa, Oklahoma. Okay? Another quake here. This is Dibble. A 1.4 tremor here in Dibble. Oil and gas. North northwest of there, Winoka, Oklahoma, oil and gas, 1.4 tremor here. We go south. This is in Hermleigh, Texas. This is most definitely an oil and gas earthquake, a 2.4 minor earthquake, but it's not the only one. Look at this. Okay? A 2.4 and a 2.2. This is in an oil and gas enriched area. Oil and gas all over this area, guys. Literally. Oil and gas all over here. Right here. There's an oil and gas pumping operation here. Right here. Right here. Right there. Right just southwest of this earthquake. Okay? Oil and gas everywhere. This one here. Same thing. Look at all these oil and gas pads all over here. This is an oil and gas quake. Hermleigh, Texas. Hermleigh, Texas. Two of them there. Southwestern Texas. This is a 2.2 earthquake, and folks, we've had a lot of other earthquakes in the same area. This is also oil and gas. Look how close to this earthquake that these pumps and jacks are right here. You can see them. Oil and gas all over that place. Okay? Now I'm going to be coming back here and talking about Southern California in a few minutes, just so you know. Right here, Lopez Point. Lopez Point, California. This is just south of Monterey Bay. A 2.2 earthquake. Okay? This one here. This is Morgan Hill. This is on the Hayward Fault. This is a 1.3 tremor on the Hayward Fault. Going further southeast, South Dos Palos, California, a 1.6. This is on the Calaveras Fault. The Calaveras Fault. Wonderful thing, huh? Earthquake here at the earthquake capital of California, Parkfield, California, at 0.8. A 2.1 here as well. A 2.1 minor earthquake, Parkfield, California. We go northeast. Coalinga, California with 1.5. Now, no, this isn't because of coal drilling. This is an earthquake here. This is an earthquake. Right here. I want to show you this earthquake. It's important. Look what's going on here. This is a 3.6 magnitude earthquake in the Walker Lane Fault. 4 miles northwest of Walker, California. Walker Lane Fault. Walker Lane Fault, guys, this is the same location we had a 6.9 earthquake here a year and a half ago. Antelope Valley, Walker Lane Fault. This is a 3.6, this is a 1.3. North of there, right here, Topaz Ranch Estates, at 0.7 here, Topaz Ranch Estates in Nevada. Now, why are all these earthquakes important? Why do you think they're important? Another one north here. This is also Nevada at 0.2, right next to a 1.5, Johnson Lane, Nevada. Look where these earthquakes are located, guys. The Walker Lane Fault. The Walker Lane Fault. What is north of here? Pyramid Lake. There's even an earthquake here at Pyramid Lake. This happens to be a volcano, by the way. This is a 0.7 tremor, microquake, at Pyramid Lake. Why am I emphasizing this? Number one, it's a volcano. Notice where it's located. This is going to be very important in a few minutes. Okay? It's going to become very important in a few minutes. What do we have down here? What is this? This is the Gulf of California, everybody. If you go over here on the internet and Google the Navy map, you're going to find a waterway stretching from the Gulf of California here all the way up here through Southern California, Mexico, all the way through Mexico, Southern California where the Salton Sea is. Yes, we're going to talk about earthquakes of the Salton Sea here. There are earthquakes here. But all the way from the Gulf of California through the Salton Sea and northbound throughout this entire area. Right here. This is near Mammoth Mountain. This is a 2.8 earthquake. Also on the Walker Lane Fault. Look at all these earthquakes on the Walker Lane Fault. Going all the way up here to Pyramid Lake. This area will be an inland waterway at some point. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, next month, or next year, but it's going to happen at some point in time. There's going to be several massive earthquakes that are going to open up this area. There have been earthquakes here before. But in order for this Walker Lane Fault waterway to open up, there's going to be some massive earthquakes. To happen here in Mexico, in Southern California, right in here. Oh yeah, big time. Big time earthquakes throughout this entire area. All the way up to Pyramid Lake. It's going to be an inland waterway, ladies and gentlemen. An inland waterway. Spinderella just gave us another $50 super chat. Thank you so much for that. God bless you, Spinderella. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. That means a lot to us. Elizabeth is saying, is that near Bishop's Bluff? I don't think it's near it, but it's close enough to it. Okay? I haven't looked at where Bishop's Bluff is in recent days. I've seen it. I've also driven by Bishop's Bluff. Okay? I don't know whether it is or not. I think it's fairly close to it. Holly Al is asking, I need to give Ron an address that has answers to his questions about Maui. Email me. Okay? Email me that address. P.O. Box 420. Actually, you can email me or you can send it to my post office box. P.O. Box 422. Valdese, Valdese, North Carolina. Zip code is 28659. Excuse me, 28690. Zip code is 28690. I'm sorry. Why did I screw that up? My email address, rltnspd, Robert Lincoln Tom, Nancy Sam Paul David, Emergency Management Associates, rltnspdema @gmail.com. Email that information and I will have that information from you. I appreciate that. Okay? I definitely do appreciate that. That means the world to me. Okay? Now, you guys asked me about Canada. Okay? I told you that I have information about Canada. Yes, I do. Excuse me, gotta get a drink of water. I'm going to give you information about northwestern Canada first, and I'm going to give you information about central Canada and northeastern Canada. Okay? I want to make sure you get this information, you get it right here. Nobody else is going to get it for you. They're just not. Nobody even talks about it. Nobody even talks about it, unfortunately. But that happens. It happens a lot, in fact. Very few people even talk about Canada. Let me put this map away right now. You can see some earthquakes over there in northwestern, in the Pacific Northwest. There's also earthquakes over near, well, let me do this. It's up near Montana. I'll show you this real quick. Okay? Well, maybe I won't, because USGS just timed out my map. Oh well, that's life. There are earthquakes over in the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber near Challis, Idaho. That's the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. They're minor earthquakes, but minor earthquakes are still the same when it comes to magma down beneath the earth in the magma chamber of Yellowstone volcano. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. This is Canada that you guys have been asking me about. Look at the earthquakes up here in the Yukon Territory. Those orangish earthquakes up there at the top, 4.5, 5.0, and aftershocks. Okay? Good size earthquakes. Look at the ones in yellow. Those ones in yellow happened about 3 weeks ago. They're also good sized earthquakes up here. We've talked about this before. We've talked about it before. Look at these earthquakes over along the coast of Alaska, southeast coast of Alaska, and also over here near British Columbia, Canada, along the coast. Look at that. All kinds of earthquakes, guys. Literally all kinds of earthquakes. And yet they don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it but us. Okay? They just don't. They just don't. That yellow earthquake, that's the largest one over there that you see here, that's a 3.1 earthquake. Just off the coast of Yakutat, Alaska. A 3.1 earthquake. Okay? That happened about 2.5 weeks ago. Let's go further south. Let's go further south. Okay? This one is out. These earthquakes here. Okay, let me show you something. See that big yellow earthquake right there? See that big yellow earthquake right there? Over on the left-hand side? Okay? See that big yellow earthquake there? Off the northwest shore of Vancouver, British Columbia. Guess what, guys? That was a 5.4 earthquake. That was a 5.4 earthquake 2.5 weeks ago. Two weeks ago. Not 2.5, but 2 weeks ago. A 5.4 earthquake. Off the coast of Port Hardy, British Columbia. We talked about this. Okay? Yes, Richard Smith says the Canadian government seismic site. Absolutely. It's called nrcan.gc.ca. nrcan.gc.ca. Okay? You can find this information out yourselves. See all those earthquakes? Those are foreshocks and aftershocks surrounding that quake. And there have been others there as well. There have been others there as well. Okay? South of there. And this just happened. This just happened yesterday. There was a 4.1 earthquake over on the Blanco fracture zone. See that big orange earthquake right there? That was yesterday, a 4.1 earthquake off the Blanco fracture zone, almost directly west of Seattle. Almost directly west of Seattle. You can see these earthquakes, guys, they're all over. The orange earthquakes here are within the last week. The last 24 hours of the past week. The yellow earthquakes are anywhere from a week and a half to 3 weeks ago. Okay? That's what's going on in Canada. Let's go over to central Canada and over to northeastern Canada as well. Okay? Right here. Just so you see it. Look what we got here. On the north side of Hudson Bay. On the north side of Hudson Bay. That orange quake is a 3.4. That yellow quake is a 3.8. 3.8 on the 20th. And that orange quake there, that 3.4, was the 21st. 6 days ago. So there's earthquakes there. Go figure. There's earthquakes there. Now let's look at the East Coast here. Look at this. Let's go over to Halifax first. Just off the coast of Halifax. That yellow quake. That's a 3.0. That was on September 5th. Okay? Now we can go south of Yarmouth. No, Yarmouth, I'm sorry. Yarmouth, Canada. This was a 3.3 on the 22nd. That orange earthquake there, a 3.3 on the 22nd, 5 days ago. 5 days ago. And that big earthquake, it wasn't big, huge, but it was large. It was a good-sized earthquake west of Ottawa. Let's look at that. Okay? This is actually near Montreal, very close to Montreal. This was a 3.3 earthquake. This was 3 days ago on the 24th. Montreal. Small earthquake hitting Montreal 3 days ago. All these other earthquakes here that you see are tremors and microquakes. Tremors and microquakes. This is pretty typical of what we see all over Canada. Okay? We don't see as many earthquakes on the eastern shores or on the east side of Canada as we do on the west. The west is more highly active because it's sitting out there on what? What do we have over on the west coast? the Cascadia subduction zone. The Cascadia subduction zone. That's what's there. Okay? That's what's happening. Any questions about that? Any questions about that? Demon Catman says, Ron, can we make Canadian Patriot 1 a mod? How about it, Dave? Do you want to become a mod? Canadian Patriot 1 is one of my best friends, guys. And Dean, thank you so much for asking about it. I highly admire Canadian Patriot 1. He's a darn good friend. Canadian Patriot 1 says LOL. Dave, do you want to become a mod on this channel? I'd love to have you as a mod on this channel. You'd be a great asset to us. Dave's already a great asset. Okay, he really is. He really is. He already is. Dave, do you want to become a part of this? Says, sure, Ron. Well, guess what, Dave? Guess what? You're now a mod, Dave. You become a moderator. Big Dave, Big Canadian Patriot 1 is now a moderator on the Emergency Management Associates. Yay, Dave. Yay, Dave. 100%. 100%. Dean, thanks so much for getting my attention about that. Dave just lives below Hudson Bay there, 3 hours south of it. And he sent me a picture the other day of him fishing. And I talked to him from his fishing hole. How about that? How about that? Yes, I do care about Dave and our whole family. I love you all. I really do love you all. Now, guys, I'm going to hurry into this because I'm already overtime here. I didn't think I would be here overtime tonight, but I am. Folks, this is a significant seismogram. This is Southern California. What do you think this is? Baldwin Hills. This is the oil and gas pumping operation northwest of Los Angeles. Huge pumping operation here. What did they do? There's a reason they call it the Baldwin Hills. Folks, the Baldwin Hills is a huge oil and gas pumping operation. It used to be hills. It used to be rolling hills, and I mean tall hills. Trees and stuff all over here. They bulldozed the trees. They bulldozed the area flat. Now it's a huge oil and gas pumping operation northwest of Los Angeles. As you can see here, there are constant tremors here. These are not microquakes, these are tremors here at the Baldwin Hills oil and gas pumping operation. Okay? Notice that they shut down the seismograph. They shut down the seismograph just probably, I want to say, about 10:40 a.m. this morning. Shut it down for about 2 minutes. Actually, not even that. Probably 30 seconds. I'm sorry, should not have said 2 minutes. Probably about 30 seconds they shut it down. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. This is the first time I've seen the seismograph being shut down for any length of time here at the Baldwin Hills. But that happens. It happens. Okay? Now I'm going to kind of take you speedily throughout Southern California here. I'm not going to show you everything that I have here because it's so late. I am, however, going to show you Barstow out in the desert. This is along the San Andreas Fault out here in the desert area of Southern California. Notice the tremors here, and also notice some microquakes. Those little thin lines here are microquakes. They have nothing to do with magma. This is microquakes here. The larger, thicker lines here, those are tremors. Long duration tremors and long duration microquakes here, out here in Barstow, California. Okay? Then we go out here to the Channel Islands. Let's take a trip off the coast of Los Angeles. The Channel Islands. Look what's going on here. Look what's going on here. We have earthquakes, don't we? There are earthquake faults out here in the ocean off the coast of LA. This is pretty typical now of the Channel Islands. Up until about 3 weeks ago, nothing was going on here. We just have some minor tremors and that's it. Hit and miss tremors. Look at here. It's almost non-stop. And if you look closely, look at those longer lines here over on the left-hand side here. The center left-hand side to the top. At least two 2.5 earthquakes. Two minor 2.5 earthquakes. One on the green line here and one on the blue line to the left. Two separate distinct earthquakes. One just after about 7:05 a.m. and I believe the next one was after 7:48 or 7:49 a.m. this morning. Isn't that something? Over here in the Channel Islands, there's a reason for it, guys. It's called the Newport-Inglewood Fault is out there. There's several other ancillary faults as well. Out in the Channel Islands, over in the ocean just west of Los Angeles. Now, let's go east. Let's go east to Chino, California. Look at this. By the way, these seismograms start at 5 a.m. in the morning, and they go to just after 1:15, 1:30 this afternoon. Okay? Yes, I started pulling some of them after just about 1:15 this afternoon. You can see that. Look at the tremors here. It's almost non-stop. Sometimes the tremors get bigger every couple minutes. But these are all tremors here. Chino, California is getting nailed. This started happening several months back. About 5 or 6 months ago. Used to be hit and miss tremors. Now you cannot even go much more than a minute without having a 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 tremor. And that's what we're seeing here in Chino, California. Let's go over to another community in Los Angeles. It's called Del Amo. Look at this, guys. Almost full color. That's how much seismic activity we have here in Del Amo, California. Look at that. 1.3, 1.5, 1.6 earthquakes. These are tremors, guys. These are tremors, but non-stop. How would you like to live in this area and you feel something but you're not quite sure what it is? But it's non-stop. We don't have any earthquakes here at all. These are all tremors. There's only one possible earthquake, and that could have happened just after 8 a.m. this morning. About 8:10 a.m. this morning, we might have had a 2.0 earthquake. You can see the black line in the top center here. Okay? That's the only possible 2.0 earthquake we had here at Del Amo, California. Okay? Let's go over to Ellis, California. This is over near Paris, California. Near Paris, California. There happens to be the Southern California Railroad Museum here too. The Southern California Railroad Museum is in Paris, California. Look at this, guys. We used to get just hit and miss tremors. You can see some tiny 1.0 tremors here at the top. But all of a sudden, just about 6:32 a.m. this morning, we start getting some good-sized tremors leading up to 2.0 earthquakes. 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes. Here and there all over this seismogram. Okay? Again, we didn't used to see this even 4 or 5 months ago. We do now. Ellis, California. Paris, California, guys. I have friends of mine over there in Ellis and Paris, California. It's happening. It's happening. Now, I want to go over to Laguna Bell. Laguna Bell is over near Laguna, California, on the south side in, I believe it's Orange County, California. Orange County, California. Look at this. Tremors to beat the band. 1.0, 1.2, 1.3 tremors, except when it really gets going, and that was after 7 o'clock this morning. It really started hitting the fan. 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 tremors all over the place. They also turned off this machine just after approximately 10:40 a.m. this morning. They turned it off for a minute and a half. You can see it there. I have no idea why they would have done that. It's kind of stupid. All there are tremors. There's no real reason that they should have done that. Let's go over to Long Beach, Anaheim area. Long Beach, Anaheim. This is light height. This is what we call light height. I'm just going to reduce the size of this a little bit so you can see the top of it. Look at this. The top of this is showing some tremors, some good sized tremors. Again, from top to bottom, side to side, it's nothing but color. Very little white showing. That means the seismic energy was so much on and on and on that all we had here was color. Constant tremors. Constant tremors. There may have been some 2.0 earthquakes here, but it's hard to tell. If it wasn't 2.0 earthquakes, it was close to it. 1.5, 1.8, 1.9 tremors. And then it would have been a 2.0. Down at the bottom, you can see it. You can see the activity here. That's the way it was literally all day today. That's the way it was all day. I pulled this seismogram here just after, well, it was nearly 2:30. Just before 2:30 this afternoon. But you can see here at the bottom, the black lines and the red lines here. You can see the seismic energy bouncing all over the place. Okay, this is Anaheim, Long Beach area, there in Southern California, just southwest of Los Angeles. This is big time information. Big time information, guys. Now, let me show you something else. Over in that same area, and this is going to blow some people's minds. This is State Street. This is right down the way, about a mile away from Light Height. Look here. Here we have some earthquakes here. We actually have some earthquakes on this seismogram. Look at over here on the top right, in the blue. This is just before 6, actually 5, wasn't 6, it was 5, I want to say 5:41 this morning. 5:41 this morning, we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Minor earthquake, but a good sized earthquake nonetheless. And you look around this seismogram here, you can see other earthquakes here as well. Okay, I believe it's nothing more than 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes, and some of them will be a 2.0, such as this one here on the bottom red line here. Okay, This was after 2:18 p.m. this afternoon. 2:18 p.m. we had a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. And you can see these lines here. Look at those lines. They reach pretty far down. This may have been as much as a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. You can see it there. You can see it there. Look at those lines. Those are long lines. This may have been as close as nearly a 3.0 earthquake. Like I said, a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake over here in the Anaheim, Long Beach area. No joke. No joke at all. Folks, this is ramping up. The seismic energy in Southern California is ramping up. I've never seen this way before. Never. I've been watching this for years now. Rinaldi. Let's go over to Rinaldi. Look at this. Nothing but tremors here. Yes, we've seen it with microquakes. Now we see it with nothing but tremors. And again, they shut off the seismograph for about a minute and a half earlier today. Okay? Rinaldi. I want to go over to another place here called Mira Loma. Mira Loma. This is over just south of Loma Linda Medical Center, Loma Linda, California. This is Mira Loma. Look at this, guys. This is wild. We're having minor tremors and earthquakes over here in Mira Loma. And folks, not just that. If I went back to the USGS map, it shows 3.2 earthquakes at Loma Linda. 3.2 small earthquakes at Loma Linda today. So it's not just here at Mira Loma, south of Loma Linda. Over here on the right hand side in the red on the lower part of this seismograph, you can see what we're talking about. These are probably close to 3.0 earthquakes, if not 3.0. They're close to it. And over here on the left in the blue, the same thing on the lower, on the second blue line to the bottom on the left. Okay? You can see nearly 3.0 earthquakes there, 2.8, 2.9 at least. Okay? Southern California is getting hit. And also, I just looked up here at the top, or not right at the top, but going down towards the middle right here on the green line here. This is after 7:50, it's about 7:55 a.m. this morning. There's another 2.6, 2.8 earthquake. Earthquakes, minor earthquakes here. Minor earthquakes. We've not seen that here before. This is new to the Mira Loma, Loma Linda area. It's happening. It's happening. Pardee, California. Look at all the tremors here. It's never been this way. And then over here towards the middle right here on the red line. This is approximately 11:20 a.m. this morning. A 2.0 earthquake. A 2.0 earthquake. Okay? Pardee, California. We've never seen that before. This is new. This is new. Rancho Mirage, out in the desert. The San Andreas Fault here. Look what we have here. Tremors and earthquakes. Tremors and earthquakes. If we look over here on the left-hand side on the black line after 9 a.m. Just after 9:01 a.m. this morning. Look at that black line. It darts up, but not very far. Okay? That was a tremor there, but look at the black line at 10 o'clock just below that. This was a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. Rancho Mirage, out in the desert. I haven't seen any earthquakes there since the 70s. I just haven't. I just haven't seen it. Downtown Los Angeles. This is normal. But again, look what we're seeing here. They turn off the seismograph. This time they turn it off about 7:50, or excuse me, 10:50 a.m. this morning. They turned it off for a minute and a half. What's up, USGS and Caltech? Why are you doing that? Yes, it's Caltech doing it. USGS with them, okay? It's happening. It's happening. I want to go over to Hemet, California. Here is the San Jacinto campus at Hemet, California. San Jacinto campus is a small community college. I shouldn't say small, it's a pretty good sized community college in Hemet, California. Before, all we had here was just some minor tremors. Now we're having earthquakes here as well. Look at this. These are earthquakes here. Jeanette just gave us a $10 super chat. Thanks, Jeanette. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. Guys, I sure appreciate each and every one of you that are helping us out here tonight. That's awesome. That really is awesome. God bless you, Jeanette. God bless all of you who've given us super chats tonight. Also look here over after 10:50 a.m. this morning. They turned off the seismograph again, this time for just after 30 seconds. Why are they doing it? We're getting 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. We haven't seen this before. We haven't seen this before in Hemet, but we're seeing it now. We're actually seeing minor earthquakes. What are we going to have? A small earthquake? A moderate earthquake there in Hemet? It could be. It could very well happen. Seismic energy is moving around down there. Okay? It really is. Now, that area could also be construed as part of the Anza Gap. Part of the Anza Gap in that area. I have been there. I spent quite a bit of time in Paris, California. I spent quite a bit of time in Hemet. I had friends and relatives in Hemet that I used to see at least once a month. I went fishing with my former brother-in-law. I shouldn't say former, he's a late brother-in-law. He was a great man. He died of a heart attack. His wife kept harping at him that she wanted him to go see the doctor. He worked for a road crew building roads in that area. He was out on the road building a road with his great big huge truck. He went back to his truck to have lunch and had a heart attack at the wheel of his great big huge dump truck. And he died that day. As it turned out, he had blockages around his heart. That's why he died. I paid tribute to that great man. I went fishing with him many times. Yes, he's my former brother-in-law, and I loved him very much. He was a great man. Canadian Patriot is saying, no kidding, it's nuts in Parliament there in Canada. Prime Minister Trudeau won't take any real responsibility for his actions, just like all the rest of these dirtbags. They're not taking responsibility for their actions. Go figure. One of the parliamentary people lost their job today. They resigned. I saw that. I sent Dave, Canadian Patriot 1, a message about that on Messenger today. One of the parliament people in Canada resigned today. I have a feeling he was forced out. Forced out. Okay. Before I go down to Imperial Valley and show you the Salton Sea, there's something else I want to show you in Los Angeles. This is Walnut La Puente. This is a volcano in Walnut, California. Walnut, California is sitting in the caldera of the volcano. Look what we have here. These are good sized earthquakes over there in Walnut, La Puente area, Los Angeles. This is huge. Menacing Muskrat said that the Speaker of the House took the fall. Yeah. It's happening in the U.S., it's happening in Canada. They are starting to get theirs. People like us are standing up. We have to stand up. We have to stand up. Getting back here to Walnut, La Puente, look at these earthquakes. This is eastern Los Angeles County. This is a volcano. This is happening more and more. Look at these earthquakes. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. That black one there in the center left, guess what? It's topped and bottomed off. It was probably larger than it's being painted there by the seismograph. They topped and the bottomed off. A large earthquake. These others here, the red one just to the top right of that, that's at least a 3.4, 3.5 earthquake. All over. This is a volcano over there in Los Angeles area. Go figure. Go figure. Let's go down to Bombay Beach. The Salton Sea, look at this. The same kind of earthquakes are hitting here as well. Look at that. Look at that this morning up here at the top. This happened after about 5, I want to say 5:10 a.m. this morning. Again, this has been topped and bottomed off. This is probably a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake. Okay? This is on the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault is where this earthquake happened. All these earthquakes. The San Andreas Fault runs down the eastern side of the Salton Sea. That's where these earthquakes are at Bombay Beach. Okay? All over. Let's take a look at a couple other places here before we get off the air. Okay? You're going to want to see this, guys. You're definitely going to want to see this. Our buddy Juanito lives in El Centro, California. Guess what? Look what happened in El Centro, California today. Look at these earthquakes. 3.4, 3.5 earthquakes. Yes, there are a bunch of tremors here as well. But these earthquakes happened right and left, right after one after another, all day today. This is Imperial, California today. Earthquakes. Lorraine Blomgren says, those are nasty. They are. Okay? Folks, you know where El Centro, California is? This is the San Jacinto Fault. These earthquakes are happening on the southern end of the San Jacinto Fault, on the west side of the Salton Sea, on the southwest side of the Salton Sea, El Centro, California. Okay? Not to be outdone, just south of the Salton Sea by about 10 miles, there's a town called Imperial. Look at these tremors here. We have seen earthquakes at Imperial before. These are tremors here. These are a lot of tremors. This is unusual for Imperial Valley. Yes, we've had some tremors here, but we've usually had earthquakes there as well. Not to be outdone, one other place called Westmoreland. It's north of Imperial. Look what's happening here. I don't think we have any earthquakes here at Westmoreland. We have people, members of our EMA family, that live here in Westmoreland. I interviewed a lady that later died about 1.5 years ago. She and her husband lived here in Westmoreland. These are tremors here. This is the San Andreas Fault here. After the San Andreas Fault pulls out from underneath the Salton Sea on the east side, all of a sudden it turns left. It turns west. And it goes just south of the Salton Sea until it gets to Westmoreland. Then it turns south and takes a southerly direction. That's why we have earthquakes here. Westmoreland and Imperial. Westmoreland and Imperial. Okay? The next place I'm going to take you is also on the San Andreas Fault, down there in the Imperial Valley. Okay? What do you think it is? It's called the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. Yes, this is a this is a San Andreas Fault as well. Okay, look at these earthquakes. There's a bunch of earthquakes and tremors. Most of the earthquakes here are 2.0, 2.3, 2.4. The others here, the smaller ones here, they're all tremors. And I've never seen anything like this over here in Holtville before. Never. Never. Yes, they've had some earthquakes. Yes, they've had some tremors, but this is the most seismic. This is the most seismic activity that I've seen down here in Holtville. That's a lot of activity. This is a ton of activity. I pulled this thing out here just before 2 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, look at that. That's incredible. That's incredible. Now, folks, do you have any questions for me? Nothing much is happening in San Diego County itself. San Diego County in several locations from the western side of San Diego City out to El Cajon. Pechanga Casino, and out just east of El Cajon, there are a bunch of tremors. But that's all. Mission Control, the SDG&E building over in western San Diego City, doesn't have much here at all. Just some very tiny tremors, and that's it. San Diego itself is quiet. It wasn't quiet last week. Okay? It wasn't quiet last week. That is our report about earthquakes in Southern California, earthquakes along the Pacific coast of California, and over in Oregon and Washington, and Canada. I shown you earthquakes around the world, although USGS does a poor example of those earthquakes. A very poor example of it. Kilauea. I want to show you this. Last week, Kilauea was erupting. It's no longer erupting. This is the caldera of the Kilauea volcano. This is looking from north to south. Looking north to south here. Okay? Halemaumau crater at Kilauea volcano. It's fabulous. Look at this. That was from the southern side looking north. That was the southern side looking north over Kilauea. This is the northern end. This is a wide angle lens from the Hawaii Volcano Observation Tower at Kilauea, looking out over the volcano today. Yes, we're having some steaming going on. Steam releases from the volcano, but that's all. Kilauea is not erupting. Kilauea is not erupting. Okay? Now, there's a couple things I want to show you. Now we're over here at Hawaii. This is Kilauea. There is still activity. It might not be erupting, but there's still seismic activity at Kilauea volcano. It's still going. This is also Kilauea. This is 6 hours today. This is the 6-hour seismograph. You can see 2.5, 3.0 earthquakes here at Kilauea volcano. It's still happening. It's still moving. Now, I want to show you Mauna Loa. This is Mauna Loa today. It's quiet. It's basically quiet. Not a lot is happening. Yes, we got some tremors here later today, right before I pulled this seismograph. But guess what? There is a volcano that's north of there. We talked about it before. This volcano is called Mauna Kea. We've told you that there are earthquakes at Mauna Kea and more earthquakes at Mauna Kea than at Mauna Loa. This proves it. This is typically what we see day after day. Yes, it does vary. Earthquakes do vary at volcanoes. But again, Mauna Kea is not even being shown as a possible eruption on the Big Island. But you can see the magma coming into the volcano here. Look at what happened yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. Look at all these earthquakes. Look at all the magma coming into the magma chamber of Mauna Kea. Look at that. And then during the night we had very little activity. Hit and miss. Then as the sun started coming up, look what we had today. Mauna Kea. Yes, there are no 3.0 earthquakes. These are 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes at Mauna Kea. Why? Because the magma is coming into the volcano. The earthquakes are caused by the magma that is coming in and hitting rock inside the volcano. The magma is coming in under pressure, annihilating the rock inside the volcano, causing volcano uplift. That's what's going on here. Okay? The magma is coming in, hitting the rock under pressure inside the volcano, causing these earthquakes. That's what you're seeing here. Over and over and over again. You see plenty of magma coming into this volcano. There's a lot. There's a lot. That's what's going on in Hawaii. Okay? Does anybody have any questions of me? I know I've been all over the place today. Demon Cat says, they love the telescopic getting shaken. Yes. Oh yeah. You ought to see it when that telescope shakes. When those earthquakes hit and that telescope just bounces all over the place. It's all cool. Really cool. Okay? It's really cool. Like I said, this is September 27th. This is still Emergency Preparedness Month. I talked to you all earlier about preparedness kits and writing a preparedness plan. Don't forget water. You cannot exist without water. If they shut down this doggone government, you're toast without food and water. Make sure you have water and food. If they shut things down, things are going to get really, really bad. And they will get really, really bad really fast. So make sure you have your food and your water and a plan. On this banner here, this is our EMA banner. I've had this a little bit forever. My big tech lady, she claims she doesn't know much, but she does. She's great. She made this banner for me, and she's adjusted over the last few years. Over here you see our email address, rltnspdema@gmail.com. Emergency Management Associates at Patreon. Not Patreon, I'm sorry, Proton Mail. Protonmail.com. We can't get in there right now, but I'm going to still try. I can't get into my Proton Mail right now, but I'm still going to try. You can always reach me at our Gmail address there. Our email address is at Gmail. Our P.O. Box 422, Valdese, Valdese, North Carolina. Zip code is 28690. Any questions here? Any questions? Menacing Muskrat has got a wildfire restitution thing here for British Columbia. I will take a look at that. In the future, Menacing Muskrat, please do not put up websites unless you get approval from me. I've been to that website before, I'm well aware of it. But please, before you ever do it, beforehand, before a broadcast, send me a letter, send me a message, call me, or whatever. Okay? Please do that. Any other questions? These are important. This is very important. Canadian Patriot 1 says, just as prepared as you can for any emergency that may arise. And stay calm so you can think clearly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Menacing Muskrat says, oops, I'm sorry. Just so you know. Okay? Rick Silva says, need to work towards being self-sufficient if possible. Absolutely. You need to work to become self-sufficient. Do something daily to add to your preps. Every little bit helps. Rick, you're so right. God bless you, Rick. Rick and I have been friends forever now. He and his wife and I have been friends forever. Thank you so much. Any questions, guys? I'm open for questions for a few minutes here. I've talked about a lot. I've been here on the air for a long time tonight. I'm sorry. Okay? If you don't have any questions, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a devotional from the scriptures. Okay? Now, folks, this comes from the New Testament. And again, this is one of my favorite scriptures. Okay? This is Paul talking here again. Okay? This is Paul in the 2nd chapter of Acts. Spirit is poured out on the day of Pentecost here. Peter testifies of Jesus Christ's resurrection. He tells how to gain salvation and speaks of the gift of the Holy Ghost. Many people believed and are baptized. Okay? Acts chapter 2, verse 37 and 38. Peter's talking here. Okay? And now when they heard this, they were pricked in their hearts, and said unto Peter and to the rest of the apostles, Men and brethren, what should we do? Men and brethren, what should we do? Verse 38. This is where Peter does it all here. Then Peter said unto them, Repent, and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ, for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. It says in capital letters, Repent. Repent and be baptized. That is what the Savior wants us to do. That's what the apostles want us to do. That is what I'm asking each of you to do, is repent. And if you have not already been baptized, be baptized. If you're wondering how to do that, talk to me. I can help explain that as well. May God bless you and be with you. May God bless you and be with you this day and always. Make sure you get your preparations in order. Things are going to happen very quickly here in the United States. Very quickly. If they shut this government down, a lot of people are going to suffer. Okay? Get her done. As Larry the Cable Guy would say. Get her done. I love each and every one of you. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to this program. I want to thank everyone who's given us super chats. I want to thank Canadian Patriot 1 for becoming a moderator. I appreciate each and every one of you here. You guys make my day. You really do. I want to thank all of our EMA family. Thank you for being here. Please share this program far and wide. Far and wide. Everybody needs to know what's going on here. That's why we put out this program on a weekly basis here. Monday through Friday. Same place, same bat channel, same time. God be with you. God be with you until we meet again. I love you guys. I care for you a great deal. Have a good night. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information gets out and becomes available. Until then, take care, everybody. God be with you till we meet again. Good night. See you around the corner.